hitting it so hard? Hub, you fucking up the rotation. Puff, puff, give. Puff, puff, give. Fucking up the rotation. You can get killed with somebody else. That's some serious shit. You lucky you my boy.
We are back with another episode of Weed the People. I'm your host, James Curry.
And I'm Anthony LaFerrara. How you doing, James?
I'm doing fantastic. I actually feel amazing today, the past couple days.
Why?
It's been a really fun couple
Well,
days.
good, but why?
So I actually started a microdosing regimen with some psilocybin, some mushrooms.
Oh, okay.
And
very interesting.
This is the first time I've ever had the opportunity to do so.
So what, before, would you say you were more of a macro dose kind of guy?
Yeah, I would just eat a handful of mushrooms and go to Pluto. But I had the opportunity to get my hands on some microdose capsules.
Now, like what's considered a microdose?
So it's 0.2 of a gram in every capsule.
Okay.
I would show you, but YouTube probably won't like that. And
hypothetical.
Let me tell you, I feel amazing. Like there's no psychedelic or psychoactive effect. Like it's not like I'm tripping dick walking around like everything is blurry. Like
what'd you feel like?
I just like the best way to describe it is it's almost like it took the edge off. Like I didn't have any anxiety. I just literally felt happy all day. I've been smiling all day. And I just feel comfortable in my own skin. Like I have really bad anxiety to begin with. Like I get in my own head and like and the coolest thing is my thoughts are coming in really clear. Like everything is just coming in nice and smooth and clear. I don't have to work to think like I do a lot of times with my ADHD and my dyslexia. I gotta really think to make sure I gotta
put in extra effort.
Yeah, I make sense when I'm talking. But it's been a couple days, and I'll tell you right now, I just feel very happy. Like I literally been walking around with a big ass smile, and I catch myself all the time. I'm like, yo, James, you're fucking just cheesing all day.
Cheesing out.
Just walking around like an asshole. Like I'm like, yo, this is amazing. Like,
yeah.
And I really, really enjoy it, and I'm really glad that I got to try it, and I'm definitely going to continue. I think.
Now, do you think that like the type of mushroom that you microdose with makes a difference?
I don't know. I really want to get a couple people on to talk about this particular subject, because this is
that would be great. I think a lot of people are very interested in that right now.
Yes, and this is not something that I'm very knowledgeable about. This is not something I've done a ton of research in. I've done a ton of research in cannabis and weed, and I've done my fair share of mushrooms and hallucinogenics. Don't get me wrong.
You've done research, but in your own way.
Yeah, in my own way. But it's not like I did with cannabis. Like when I smoked weed for the first time, I literally sat on the computer for fucking weeks on end. Just what did I do? What did I just put into my body? Because I was a high level athlete, and I bought into the propaganda. I bought into the hype. Yes. So wow. So for mushrooms, when I did mushrooms, I remember the first time I did them was my boy Phil's. He's going to come on the show. He's actually he knows a lot about mushrooms. He spends a lot of time studying it. Shout out to him. He's a legend. If you're out in the New Jersey area and you're looking for some sessions, he's got them. But he puts on some great events, really great events. I really love what he's doing over in New Jersey, especially now with the league.
Like what kind of events?
Cannabis events. Does cannabis events, like smoke
nice.
sessions. He does smoke sessions. So shout out to him. They're awesome, and he gets a great turnout, and it's really, really a lot of fun.
I'm in New Jersey, James.
You are actually, Anthony. You should go check it out. Absolutely. But Phil's, he knows a lot about this stuff. Me, not so much. And mushrooms was always the type of thing that like I never really had the option. Like it wasn't like, yo, let me call my plug and get, yo, you got those microdose caps, or like, yo, you got this strain of mushrooms, or you got that strain. Like to be
you got what they had.
Yeah. It was like, all right, yo, you got some mushrooms, cool, let's do some mushrooms.
It was always those longer stems with the little round caps that
with
look
the gold
like
caps, the blue stems and the gold caps. Yeah, it was always.
That's what I always thought of when I thought those were specifically psilocybin mushrooms. I didn't realize that.
tons and tons of
we
strains.
recently learned that that's not the case.
Well, it wasn't that I recently learned that there was tons and tons of strains. I knew there was a few. I didn't know there was as many as there is.
Right,
I knew
that's
there
what I'm
was a
saying.
few. But I've seen so much great evidence of microdosing, and I've studied it in the past couple weeks and heard so many great things about it. People are talking about it in the news about how great it is.
Well, there's people that also, microdosing cannabis. Like it doesn't have to
Yeah,
just be psilocybin. Remember,
LSD.
Nick had these like little 5 milligram mints, like little breath mints, THC, and then those were good.
Yeah,
But so basically, it's like a custom high, so you can just continuously have another until you get to like your perfect dose.
Well, that's the thing. These microdoses, they're not high. Like there's no.
No, but I would think if you wanted to use them in that capacity, you probably could, like, you take one and then you don't really feel it. And then, all right, so let me take one more. And then you can find maybe what your magic number is to have the perfect experience if you want to use it in more of a recreational way.
Yeah, I don't want to use it. Like if I wanted to use it on a recreation, I'm just going to go to Pluto. I'm going to eat an eighth. I'm going to eat like a little bit more than an eighth. And I'm going to go blast off and go to somewhere else. But right now, I've heard so many good things about microdosing that I've been dying to try it, and I finally got the opportunity to do so. And let me tell you, the first couple of days in, it is a game changer. It really is.
So now, what do you think your protocol is going to be for this?
As far as what?
As far as like you're going to take it every day for a month? Are you going to take it like for 4 or 5 days in a row and then take a couple off?
I think I'm going to do a week at first because I don't have a major supply of a microdose cap. So I'm going to do a week. I'm going to try it for a week and then take a couple of days off and see the difference, just to see the contrasting difference.
Right. That sounds smart.
And then I'll probably do another week and see how that goes. But right now, the first couple of days in, I'd be lying to you if I said I feel amazing. I feel fucking amazing. Like the anxiety.
So if you said you felt good or better, you'd actually be lying, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like I feel really, like I feel very clear headed. I feel relaxed. I feel no anxiety. Like I said at the top of the show, it feels like it took the edge off.
Now, how soon did you notice that after your first dose?
I don't know. I just remember I was sitting in my chair. I was editing one of our shows and I just was sitting there. I was like, I got to text Ant because, man, I feel really good right now. Like I got to text Ant and tell him what's going on. Like, this is great. Like, cause I forgot that I even took it. Like, honestly, I didn't even remember.
I forgot too.
That I took the microdose. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, why do I feel so happy right now? Like I feel great. Why do I feel so good? But
it didn't feel artificial.
No, it felt very authentic. Like it just felt cool. And I noticed the clear-headedness is what, because my head is all over the place 24/7. My ADHD is so bad. My thoughts are going a mile a minute, and it's a lot of the times I trip over my words. I stutter because I'm thinking so quickly, and
your mouth can't keep up with your brain.
Exactly, and I feel very clear-headed. I feel like I could like I have a big issues with playing games like categories. When you like, James, can you tell me something like a categories question? And I won't be able to think of it. It'd be the easiest thing in the world. Like I was on Maria's show and she's like, yo, give us a movie that everybody should watch. And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't think of it. I couldn't pull it out of my brain. Like it just draw a blank, like literally draw. And I couldn't, and I love movies and I've watched 1,000 million movies and there's so many that you should watch that most people haven't, but for whatever reason.
So if you think that she asked you that question after protocoling with your microdosing for a little bit, you probably would have banged. Like,
I probably would have had it out. I already have it, but I don't even remember what the movie's called.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask you.
What
would your answer be?
No, it's Rise of a Foot Soldier. It's called Rise of a Foot Soldier.
All right. I gotta check that out.
Highly recommend it. It's based on a true story. It's based in England, and it's these guys. They started out as soccer hooligans, and because they were so good at being soccer hooligans and beating the shit out of each other, there was a big crackdown in the 80s of soccer hooligans, and they needed something else to do. So he ended up running into a guy who ran a security firm. So he ran the door at a nice nightclub and made a fuck ton of money and brought on his own guys. And Then all of a sudden, these really wealthy guys were coming in. We're like, yo, can you run security for drug runs and gun runs and all these other things? Then they got into steroids and they started doing all this wild. He started beating his wife.
Wow.
And it's very intense.
Sounds like a great movie.
It's very intense, but it's such a good movie. It is
Yeah.
so good. Oh man, it's so.
I gotta say, I don't like movies that give me anxiety. Like some movies, I'll have to shut off because it's too much. Like it might be a good movie, but sometimes it gets to be too much, and I actually have to turn it off.
Well, it's based on a true story. Like this is a real. This really happened. And you could look. I forget the case, but you could look it up. These people really existed. They really died. They got into like drugs, and it was very intense. It was a really, really good movie. I remember watching it at my buddy Jeremy's house in like 2007. Like it's so funny. I can remember these things right now. Like it's just coming like flushing through my head.
It was a Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
We got Chick-fil-A.
I was Patterson with Jeremy and Phil's. When we were just smoking, and all of a sudden this movie came on. I never even heard of it. They're British. Like you have to pay attention because they're so British. They have those thick.
Dude,
British
have you seen Get Duked?
No.
Fucking so wild. You got to watch it, dude. They trip their face off in the movie. Dude, it's just, and then, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it's basically like, they're not hooligans, I wouldn't say, but they're like misfits that all come together, but in this government run program out in the UK. And they like kind of go into nature. It's almost like a thing where they go into nature and then they have certain tasks to accomplish in order to like build their teamwork. And dude, it is the wildest movie. You would love it. It's hysterical too.
I think we should start like a good movie segment, like, and talk about like.
Absolutely. Well, I think this platform is better than the other show for that.
I'm saying for this
for
platform.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm saying for this platform, like, what are some good things that we should do while you're stoned? Movies you should watch, and
all shit like that. Stuff like that. I'm sorry, swear jar. Boop.
Yeah, while you're doing holiday, I've already hit the swear jar like 6 times. But before we go any further,
we're gonna go out for a nice dinner with all the swear jar money.
I know, for real. We're gonna be partying with all that. We're gonna be doing more. We're gonna blast off and eat the rest of those mushrooms. Not even microdosing. But
full send.
Absolutely full send. Like, you ever see that dude, the Canadian dude with the full mullet, and he just rides the snow sled, and he just literally chugs Bush Light.
Is that Larry the Enticer?
Yeah, Larry the Enticer. Dude's a legend. He literally just full send. Like,
gonna be a good day. Of course, I'm gonna send it.
That lettuce that guy has. The lettuce that guy has.
Yeah,
man.
The Canadian tuxedo.
Bro, I'm so jealous that mullets are coming back now. Mullets are coming back now because I don't have the hairline to grow a mullet. Like, it would look ridiculous.
As long as you got it in the back, dude. That's the important part.
Like, I would love to just walk by somebody, be like, man, he's classy. And then as soon as I walk by, they're like, holy shit, that dude fucks. Like, whoa. Like, look at this. No, because I'm a big baseball fan.
Oakleys, you got to be rocking the Oakleys. Maybe a mustache.
I had this thought yesterday, actually, because I was watching the 93 baseball season. Like, it was like a recap of the 1993 baseball season. It was the Blue Jays and the Phillies in the World Series. But the Phillies at the time, they had a guy named Lenny Dykstra, John Kruk, and they had the closing pitcher, Mitch Williams. And they all had the sweetest mullets you'd ever see. Like, just sweet. And this was in 93. So my thought was it 94 that
they were on their way out at that time, or what do you think?
No, but there was multiple, like, all over the league. Like, everybody was rocking.
So that's mullets. Like maybe peak mullet.
And then all of a sudden, when did the mullet just die off? Like in 94, 95? Because, like, we were alive in 93. I remember people rocking mullets. You were older than I am because you're an old man. But
yeah, I had one. But I mean, it wasn't sweet. Like, it wasn't that long. And then I moved on to the rat tail.
But oh my God, legendary. But what year did they was everybody like, all right, no more mullets anymore? Like,
everyone collectively decided that we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah, when did everybody say like no more? Like, when did we stop?
I would say probably had to be towards the mid 90s, like 94, 95.
This was 93.
Maybe.
This was October of 93 when the World Series was. So you're talking,
because I thought peak mullet was probably maybe like 89.
That's what I thought. But Billy Ray Cyrus and Achy Breaky Heart and that era. But
Yeah,
this is
but they
93.
yes, I would say it probably lasted a lot longer in certain genres, like maybe in country music, and maybe people who are not as fashion forward, you might say, like not trying to keep up with the newest trend.
Yeah, but these are based like Lenny Dykstra, dude. That dude was so yoked and he was banging so many broads. This guy was an
Yeah, because he probably had more testosterone flowing through his veins than
well, it's so funny.
a gorilla.
His story is wild because he found out that steroids weren't illegal in baseball in the 90s. So he got it prescribed by the doctor, and he was literally doing interviews, and he's like, yeah, I'm on the juice. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Like, telling the whole world. And he's like, he
Dude,
literally
you
went
remember the
from,
forearms of those dudes
oh, dude, they're legendary.
when they'd be up at bat. And what was the guy? Not
Mark
with Sammy
McGwire.
Sosa. Yeah, Mark McGwire. With his forearms were like just these.
Yeah, they were the size of your
ham
biceps.
hocks.
They're
You would
the size
see him just like the muscles just rippling in the sun.
Yeah, it was amazing, dude. It was amazing.
And he'd have like a terrible hit or a terrible swing, but it would still go out.
oh
It would
yeah,
still go yard.
These guys are. See, the thing is, the whole steroid thing is ridiculous in my opinion. Because
I mean, you should have an enhanced league and have a natural league. Let's see what the humans are actually capable of.
Here's the thing. Go give the strongest bodybuilder, go give Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime a baseball bat. Tell him to go hit a fastball. Tell him to go
it has nothing to do with that.
So,
it has to do with they will develop the muscles that are most useful for their particular sport. So
yes,
if he's juicing himself up, he's not going to be worried about how he looks and how are his abs. He's just gonna be worried about getting extremely strong and building up his strength to just crack balls,
well, that's the
700 yards.
That's where I was going with this. It's a bunch of very specialized athletes that are very good at one particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're taking those very good athletes and you're now giving them steroids. So I think you should just let everybody do them. It makes the game more fun. And if you choose to and you choose not to.
I mean, I think I like the bodybuilding kind of methodology. I mean, there's enhanced leagues and there's natural leagues.
I agree, but it wouldn't work that way in baseball. It wouldn't be as effective because there's the MLB, like look at the teams, all the leagues that are trying to start, like the XFL or all these football leagues. Like no one can compete with these major elite pro sports leagues. It's not possible. It's not happening. So to do that, it would.
I don't know, dude. If you created a fucking enhanced baseball league with just fucking freaks of nature,
the MLB would have, if it started overtaking, the MLB would buy it. Be like, all right, cool. We're just going to allow everybody to do steroids. We're just going to allow everybody. And that's back to my original statement. Let everybody make their own decision. With technology and with doctors and things like that,
mm-hmm.
It's gotten so good and so advanced. And honestly, these athletes, especially baseball players or even football players, playing 162 baseball games and they're traveling all year round and they're just putting so much wear and
I mean, like hormone replacement therapy is one thing, but you can't say that these baseball players aren't allowed to be on HRT. No. Like low dosages.
Mm-mm.
Why?
No. Why? Because
what I'm saying is like 120 milligrams of testosterone a week is not being on steroids.
No, they won't allow it.
That's maintaining healthy levels.
They won't allow it. I
really that's ridiculous.
No, they won't allow any testosterone. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
oh, no test, but go ahead, go out and get some trenbolone and
no, but it's
ruin your liver.
I know it's really
get some
wild.
Tren cough.
I know it's really wild how these sports operate and what they
allow.
Well,
I don't personally think it's a good idea to maybe let everyone do whatever they want to do as far as in those leagues go, because unfortunately those leagues are a huge source of inspiration for a lot of young kids. And I wouldn't want kids thinking that, okay, well, I can just juice up and then that's how I'll become really strong and be successful.
The problem is, Ant, they already are. It's just so good now. It's undetectable in the tests. They're like, you have to think they're getting the best of the best.
Yeah, but I mean, because the misconception is that, oh, well, look at that big bodybuilder. Look at Ronnie Coleman. Oh yeah, well, he just took so much steroids and that's why he won 8 Mr. Olympia titles. No, it's not. It's because he worked extraordinarily hard, harder than 99.99% of humans on this planet can, not combined with being extremely genetically gifted. And then when you add, the enhancements, sky's the limit.
Well, that's the thing though. People are doing it anyway. They're doing it anyway, and I'd be willing to bet that a majority of the athletes in all of pro sports are on some sort of gear. I would be willing to make that statement. Because your body,
I guess it depends on how you define it. I mean, are they allowed to be on HGH in
no,
baseball?
No. Mm-mm. Football is supposed to have HGH testing.
They can't have cannabis either.
No, they can't. But that's what I'm saying.
That's ridiculous. That's the big ridiculous part, because all these athletes, that's what they actually need as, medicine to help them heal, to help them with anti-inflammatory, to help them unwind. But it's illegal, but you can, have as much Xanax and Percocet and all the shit that you want, and then you become addicted and poison your body.
You know what they
Tell me, James.
They need a lifetime supply of Kush Creams.
What? Yes, they do.
That's what they need. Yo, let me tell you, I've been using the Kush Creams for a week, and I love them. I put it. My girlfriend runs it on my back every single night.
To say that I'm excited to get my package would be the filthiest dirty lie.
Yeah,
and I am not a liar.
No, you are not. You are far from it. But it's really amazing. And apparently, she said there's a icy roller that you guys are gonna get, which I didn't get in my package. But it's like a roll-on icy thing. But this stuff is it really works. Like with
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. We did. But
that's awesome.
It's really nice. And what I love about it the most is it doesn't have that like menthol, like Tiger Balm, Ben Gay smell.
But now, was she saying something that you really need to get out in front of your injury or your area of concern, right? Like you don't really want to wait for it to get inflamed and become a problem. You kind of want to maintain.
I basically poured the whole thing in the bathtub and I sat in it and just covered my whole entire body.
Was it a bath bomb?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I mean, but it's.
But no, I literally because like my neck and my back are so bad from my shoulders, like all my shoulder injuries from fighting and wrestling, and my neck from my accident, and then just on top of that, from being sedentary for so long, sitting on a couch, my lower back is shot. Like it caused so many issues with my back that I just have my girlfriend run it all over my entire back, and I've noticed I've been sleeping better because I toss and turn a lot because I have back aches and pains, and it's just been really making. And I put it on a lot during the day. Like she told me, she goes, the skin absorbs it really quickly. It's very fast absorbing, and I've noticed that. It's very fast absorbing. So she's like, you could put it on as much as you need, and I've noticed it like. I don't wake up greasy or anything like that. Like
that's nice.
Excuse me. So I put it on my knees.
So I wonder if it's oil based or maybe it's more water based.
It's emu oil.
Oh, that's right. It is. Yeah. That's right. We were reading the ingredients.
So good news is we didn't say it last week, but we do have a code at kushcreams.com.
We certainly do, James. And what is that code?
WPR USA at checkout for 15% off. Go pick up some Kush Creams. It's really, really amazing. They have all different sizes. I really enjoy it. And I'm a big fan of topicals. I think we talked about that on our first show about how we love topicals. Yes. There was one out here in Vegas called Synergy that I really liked. And I used it a lot, and it really did a lot of work. I sent some to my father, and my family loves it. So I've noticed the Kush Creams are doing just as good, if not better, of a job, and they don't smell like they don't have that menthol smell. That's what I really liked about it the most.
And the other one had the menthol smell.
Yeah, the Synergy had that menthol smell. It smelled like weed and menthol. Like it was weird. But this one, it's like the lavender is really nice. That's not the lavender. It's called Purple Haze is what it's called, because it's probably made with purple haze. I don't know how she does.
Also lavender is purple, so
yeah. Well, I don't know how she does the infusion process.
It's more lavender.
So I've never researched topicals. So she's the owner Megan is going to come on the show hopefully next week with us. And
amazing.
We're really excited to have her on and talk more about what Kush Creams is in the
Yeah,
product.
she's got to know. She knows her stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah, well,
So
she
be
was
able to
telling
educate.
she was telling me that she did a lot of work in the 96 and 98 legalization
Oh
movements.
yeah, I'd love to hear that.
I'm really excited to talk about because like
She's OG.
yeah, that's amazing.
I'm not talking Kush.
No, that's not ocean grown.
Nope, no sir.
She's an original gangster. What everybody
Yeah.
thinks OG actually means. But I'm really excited to talk about that because without people like her, we probably wouldn't be able to have the platform that we have right now, talking about cannabis so openly and having dispensaries to talk about. And literally, like, our lifetime is going through, like, 50 years from now, they're going to be like, yo, they lived through the legalization process. Like, this is going to be part of history. And no matter which way you slice it, it's going to be a part of history. And
Absolutely.
it's really cool. It's cool, but not cool to live through. It's cool because, when you have
Once
that
it's over, it will be cool.
No, but when you have that perspective, like when you
Yeah.
sit down and you actually think about that and you're like, wow, I'm living through a historical moment, that's pretty cool. But most people would just like, I want to fucking be able to smoke weed legally and not have to be hassled by the police.
Yeah.
It's sad that that's the case, but that's really what it is. So many people are still being arrested, sent to jail, and lives are being ruined because of a plant.
There's still a lot of illegal states.
Yeah.
And a lot of those states have extremely harsh penalties, which is wild.
Absolutely nuts. It's absolutely nuts, and it's still going on today. And it's very unfortunate because lives are being ruined, families are being separated because of a plant that actually has benefits.
Medical should be legal in every state.
Yeah,
but
states.
I don't agree. I don't want it to come from the top down. I would like it to be from the state.
There has to be a way.
But wait, what did you just tell me before we got on camera or before we started recording about New York?
Oh, well, yeah, shout out to New York. Because New York just legalized marijuana, which is amazing, and I'm very happy that they're doing this. And I think they saw what New Jersey did, and they were like, "Shit, we're gonna miss the boat." New Jersey,
they would lose so much money.
Think about all
people
the
are just gonna take the train over real quick, pop into Hoboken or Jersey City, get your stash.
$2.
Dude, they do that. They do that for betting. Because in New Jersey you can bet, so there's so many people from the city. They have to actually have a physical location in New Jersey. So they take the train over, they get out, their phone shows that they're in New Jersey. They can use the app, they can place the bet, then they go back home.
Right on the path, it's $2.
It's hysterical.
That's great. No, but that's what they should be doing. Like, it's crazy.
But the fact that they legalized betting, which should have been legal. Regardless, it's a whole nother conversation. But the fact that they're like, oh, we're going to pick and choose which vices you're able to, whatever. And cannabis isn't even a vice.
We can tell you what you can and cannot do as a consenting adult. This is crazy. It's clown world. But New York, they just announced that they're going to allow home grow and they're going to have social smoking, which I think is amazing.
That's pretty huge. The home grow part.
I don't want to get political on this show. We'll talk about this on We the People Radio about their juice policy, about the juice. But I will give them credit that this marijuana policy seems pretty good because
I don't think they would have done it if New Jersey didn't do it. Just
100% not. 100% not. No chance. They were waiting for. They've been decriminalized for a long time as far as weed goes. Weed, I think, has been decriminalized.
It has. Upstate, it's very, very accepted.
But no, as far as like the trouble that you'll get in it wasn't like New Jersey. Like New Jersey, like I have a felony for 4 ounces of weed.
Well, you're a criminal, so
it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm criminal. Whereas in New York, that wouldn't have been anything. It would have been just a fine. So I think it's a great step in the right direction. And I think the home grow is the most important thing that they're doing because this is what's going to shape the industry. If they do not allow home grow, like if they don't give us home grow, they're never going to give it to us. It just don't.
I don't know, but so New Jersey passes, which puts pressure on New York to pass because they're going to lose out on all that revenue. But now I don't know if it's going to work the other way also with New York having home grow. And then if that winds up putting pressure on New Jersey to follow suit, you know?
I hope so. Well, that's why I think it's important. But I'm just saying, if none of the states, because there's not many states that allow home grow, and the ones that do, they're trying to take it away. And once they take it away, it's just like guns; they're never going to give it back.
Yeah.
So, because it's money in their pocket. That's what you have to realize. When it affects their pockets, that's when it's a big deal to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they allow homegrown, it would be a major step in the right direction for the industry, because I think this is what will allow people who truly love the plant and want to grow a good product
And the evolution that will come from all these amazing people growing their little home gardens and whatnot, and the amount that we'll learn from that process is just invaluable.
it absolutely invaluable. And people are like, oh well, the potency levels are so much higher. Okay, well that's probably a good thing.
Okay, so grow a less potent strain. It's your
Not
choice.
even that. It's even better that, in my opinion, because the only downside of smoking weed,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, and it's not really an opinion, it's almost fact, because there's so many benefits to the plant, and the plant, we have an endocannabinoid system, so we're
Yeah.
meant to receive these cannabinoids. The only downside is the hot inhalation of smoke into your lungs. If you could consume it in a way where you didn't inhale hot smoke into your lungs, there would be a lot more benefits. That's why I always say when people
Well, I mean, we do have that.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But a lot of people, I personally enjoy the smoking. Like, it doesn't have the same effect.
Oh, I
Uh,
agree. But do you remember the first time like you saw a cannabis vape?
yeah, you were like, holy shit, this is
My
crazy.
mind, because all right, so as soon as I saw vapes, like they had those hookah vapes that they would like sell at all the bars way back then, and then you know, you could get little things here and there.
With
And
your
I'm like,
Subaru and your mod.
I'm like, if they figure out a way to get cannabis into these things, it's gonna take off like crazy. And
Well, you
then
should have seen that writing on the wall. Like, once they did that, it's only inevitable the crafty potheads, because they're the craftiest
oh
motherfuckers
sure,
in the
oh yeah,
world.
they're
They're gonna,
tinkerers.
yeah, dude. Like, you remember, and I like going to people's houses and just seeing like the bongs that they've made out of like the crate. They just MacGyver like pens and
Yeah, do you remember? And what was that? Half baked, the mechanic guy. He's like, get me an avocado, a
yeah.
snorkel.
Oh, we don't have a snorkel. Okay, then give me okay.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was only a matter of time till the potheads figured it out. We're like, all right, cool. We're gonna make this happen. Now we have vapes, and me personally, I don't really like vapes. Like, it doesn't do the job that I need.
Mhm.
It just kind of keeps me. Excuse me, I keep burping. I got a lot of gas today.
It's not the microdose, is it?
Might be, and it is
Might be all
a
those
poison.
vegetables you ate.
Yeah, all those veggies put in my body because I don't eat vegetables. Uh, but
The only vegetable that James likes is cannabis.
cannabis. That's the only green.
That's
that
your only
passes,
leafy green.
Yeah, it's the only green that passes these lips. But fuck, you totally made me lose my train of thought. But yeah, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Um, maybe it was the weed that maybe did that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a very good step in the right direction, in my opinion. And I think if we allow home grow, I think the industry will thrive. I think people will be able to grow their own medicine, grow their
Yeah.
own plant. It won't cost you an arm and a leg. It won't break the bank, because that's another major issue in this industry.
I think it's the right of the people to home grow. I think that that is an inherent right in their pursuit of happiness, right? And their liberties. So it's
No,
just
I
needs to be recognized, and it should never have been infringed on in the first place. It's like silly. Why can't now you can't grow tomatoes? I'm sorry. Nope, just can't allow tomatoes. Like, well, I mean, you know, there's other things you can't grow other than not just cannabis. Like, you can't have a bitter almond tree. You're not allowed to have that
why are you not allowed to have a bitter almond tree?
because it's high in B17.
Really?
and B17 has been shown to have positive effects in fighting cancer.
Does it have any psychoactive effects?
I don't know if it does, but it's crazy because there's other plants you're not allowed to grow besides cannabis.
That's really wild. I think I've heard that before.
Kratom. Oh,
Kratom?
poppy.
Kratom?
Yeah, well, I call it kratom.
I've heard good things about kratom. I haven't really done any research.
I used it like years ago, like when it was still legal.
It still is legal. You can buy it at the store.
You can. I think there's certain kinds that maybe aren't allowed. I don't know, but it could make you sick though too. I got sick off it a couple times.
Really? Because
Yeah.
my girl's brother has it, and he keeps telling me I should try it, and I'm just like, I don't really do
It's
anything.
okay. I think you have much better. You have much better things.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the kratom's more for people who can't get access to better products.
Like these microdosing
That way.
capsules.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel great. I've been smiling this entire time. Like,
yeah. Did you take it? You took another one today?
Yeah, I took one this morning. Every day. Start
My
the day.
man.
Bing bang.
Yeah.
Well, my whole thing when I got my hands on them was I've never done microdosing, and I didn't think I would trip dick or anything like that. But I have so much stuff that I have to get done throughout the day, and I needed to make sure I could still do those things. I needed to make
Little
sure
did you know it was going to help you get those things
little
done.
did I know. Little did it was going to make me more efficient, make me work better, and be happy.
Apparently, it's huge in Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah,
Like
LSD is, I think, is
all these
also
big
bigger.
microdosing LSD.
Yeah.
How do you microdose that?
You cut it into tiny little pieces.
But it's pretty small as it is,
no,
right?
unless you have liquid or things like that. But you can definitely microdose those. Definitely. LSD. I heard of microdosing LSD before I heard of microdosing mushrooms.
I just heard of microdosing cannabis.
You can microdose Molly, dude.
You can microdose anything.
Yeah, you could literally microdose anything. But there's scientific evidence to back up the effects of microdosing and what it does. And I just wanted to make sure, because I'm the type of person that like I need to get when I need to get shit done. If there's something bothers me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to fuck that shit up. Like if I had to cancel a show, like oh yo guys, I can't do a show. I don't feel I have stomach, whatever it may be. I would have been pissed. I would have been pissed.
Absolutely.
So I was waiting for the weekend, and then there was a lot of things that happened, and we started over. It's been fantastic, dude. It's been fantastic. Good. I'm really pumped. Like I gotta figure out how to get a regular supply of these microdoses, or I might just make my own. That's another thought, but I don't know if I want to make my own. I kind of want to blast off a couple times.
You mean from spore to microdose, like the whole thing, soup to nuts?
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of want to have some fun with those the mushrooms that I have.
I thought you meant like make your own.
I would
like.
Oh no. Absolutely, I would rather grow cannabis, dude. I would rather grow.
I think they're a lot easier to grow than cannabis.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure it's mushrooms. It's a fungus. And they don't stink. I don't think.
Fungi.
Yeah, fungi. But no, it's really like New Jersey. Like we had access to boomers, but it wasn't like readily available at all times. It wasn't like, yo, like this weekend we're gonna do boomers. It was like, yo, all right, we can get.
Was it like once a year kind of thing?
No, we got them a lot. We got them a lot.
I've only tried it twice, and I think the last time I was maybe 19. So
well,
it was like 2 years ago.
I've had a lot of trips. I've had one bad trip.
Like 20. Yeah,
I've had a lot of trips. I had one bad trip, and I was younger. And I remember.
What do you think are the factors that go into having the bad trip? Like, what made you have it? Do you think?
I think your environment. I think your energy that you're giving off already. And I think there's many variables, and I think it's different for everybody. But I've had way more good trips. Like I said, I've had one bad trip. I've never had a bad trip on LSD, but I've had a bad trip on mushrooms, and it was. I forget what was going on, and I forget why I was definitely in like a negative space in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But my buddy came over and he's like, yo, you want to eat some mushrooms? I was like, yeah, sure, fuck it, why not? we're not doing anything. So we ate some boomers. I put it on my mother's meatballs, and we had a meatball sub with some mushrooms on it. And we put on the Hey Arnold movie, thinking it would be funny. We'd get a couple laughs out of it. You know, Hey Arnold. Terrible idea.
Was it the
Absolutely.
football head?
No, no, dude. It was so you think of Hey Arnold and you think of all the fun characters, you think of Gerald and you think of them play Harold playing baseball and doing all the things that they were doing and Mickey Kaline and everything that that show brought and Grandpa and what's his name? Mr. Huynh and the guy with the red beard. I forget what his name is. Fuck starts with a G. Swear jar. But we thought, all right, Hey Arnold movie, like nostalgia, it'd be funny, probably see some cool visuals. Let's have some fun. So we put it on, and this movie was all about gentrification and removing them from the town, and like literally this
You
giant
thought
guy.
about the movie in a much different way.
Yeah, oh yeah, in a way totally different way. And I had surround sound in my house in my basement, and it had all of those like when you think of a bad thing happening, like dun dun, that kept happening in the surround sound. And I have a really weak stomach, like I have IBS, and the stomach
It's because you don't eat vegetables.
probably but the stomach issue, with the stomach ache and the stomach pain, it really got to me and caused me a ton of pain and and discomfort. So I started having a really bad trip, and I kept saying to myself, like, James, you just took a fuck ton of mushrooms, chill the fuck out. And I literally sat. We put on the Big Lebowski because that's a great movie to trip to, um, and I just sat there for 8 hours hugging my dog, like literally sat there for 8 hours hugging Rocky, this big 100-pound American bully, like just hugging him.
Dogs
He
make
was
everything
oh,
better.
he was my safe space, dude. Like 8 hours, the whole entire time I was sitting there, I was like, I just can't wait for this to be over. I can't wait for this to be over. Like, don't do anything stupid. Just lay down and you're fine. And I was just uncomfortable. It wasn't even like I was like angry. I just was uncomfortable. It was probably because of the stomach, but I was just the
Yeah.
entire time I couldn't get comfortable. And so it wasn't terrible. Like it wasn't like the end of
I've
the
done
world.
I had it twice and they were both bad experiences. So that's why
Um,
it's been 20 years since I've really
but then I did mushroom like
dabbled.
then I was hanging out at my apartment and I'm sitting there and I look to my right and my boy is eating a cup full of mushrooms. I'm like, yo, where did you get those? And he just hands me a cup full of mushrooms, and we were watching the OJ Simpson series with Cuban Jr. and we just ate a bunch of mushrooms sitting on my couch and continued to watch that series. Like,
Yeah.
and it was fun. It was like,
I
so
mean, for me, the first time we were going down looking, I was a senior in high school. We were going down looking for hotel rooms in Seaside for prom weekend.
mm-hmm. Oh, probably.
So decided it would be a good idea to eat mushrooms, which it was not. And dude, I guess because I was having such a bad time, I probably looked at my watch in a minute. Now that I'm thinking about it, I probably looked at my watch maybe 30, 40 times. And I would like look at my watch and be like, oh my God, only 2 seconds went by. And to me it felt like an
Forever.
eternity.
For
Yeah. And dude, that all the cop cars, like the faces got real angry.
Did I ever tell
Down
you that?
there, I went into the casino, like the arcade that's like a bing, 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 ding,
Mm-hmm.
ding, ding,
Oh, terrible.
and like the bright colored carpets and all that shit.
Well, did
And
I ever?
but you were saying like your savior was like this one person. So I had one of my friends down there that like for whatever reason was like giving me comfort, and I just like stuck by him the whole time until until it passed. But like on the downside of it, I enjoyed it and like I was really having fun once I felt like I was back in a little bit of control.
Well, I remember my first ever time taking mushrooms was in my backyard with my boy Phil's. We went out and partied, and it was we just sat in my shed and did a bunch of that was where we smoked and hung out.
Mm.
That was our spot, and just sat in our shed, smoked and hung out and chilled, and it was a great time. Then very shortly after that, we were gonna go to a show, concert in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn waterfront to go see Dead Prez and Most Def.
Mhm.
We're doing a free show in Brooklyn. So we're like, all right, bet, let's go. So we get in the car, we hop in Phil's car, we go to the train station, we hop on the train. We leave from Patterson, we go to New York City. And we get into the city, and as we're on the train, we're getting to the next subway. Phil's comes up to me. He goes, "Yo, we're all doing acid, and since you're with us, you have to do acid with us. We don't want you to be the only one not tripping and ruin our trip. Like, you got to trip with us." And I was like, "Nah, dude, like, not happening." Mind you, before we went to the concert, we were supposed to stop at this mermaid parade in Coney Island because the girl that Phil's was trying to get was kicking it with wanted to go, and she goes every year. And so we get on the train, and he's like, "Yo, telling me every reason why I should take this, and I'll be fine." I was like, "No, no, 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 no." And it got to the point where he was like, "Yo, dude, if you don't take this, I'm just gonna put it in the Jack Daniels, and you're gonna trip. Like, you're gonna trip regardless. Like, have fun." I was like, "Bro, it's like that." He's like, "Yeah, it's like that." I'm like, "All right, bet. Give me, yeah." Like, this is literally my first ever.
I'm
acid.
going to poison you, so
Yeah.
either take it knowing you took it,
Yeah,
or
this is the kind of friends that I have.
yeah.
I'm like, "All right, cool." That's how the first time I did Molly. Nick shoved one down my throat too. He was like, "Here, take this." I was like, "What is it?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Just take it." I was like, "All right." But so I take the acid, and we're going to this mermaid parade. And yo, when I tell you, people were decked out like, think Comic-Con, but mermaids and
But mermaids,
seahorses.
wow,
Yo,
that's wild.
everybody was out on the boardwalk dressed like mermaids and seahorses and starfish, dude.
That's incredible.
And I'm tripping for my first time. We go out, it starts raining, and we go out to the beach to go smoke.
But did you understand what was happening the whole time?
Yeah, I knew what was going on.
You understood where you were?
Yeah, I understood where I was. I was totally
Okay.
fine, but I got a little ahead of myself because we'll get to that. We go to the beach. We go to the beach, and we we sparkle a blunt, and it starts to rain a little bit. So someone grabs an umbrella out of the garbage. It was in the garbage for a reason, because half of it was just wires and the other half was,
Yeah.
So we're sitting there like assholes, and under this umbrella, huddled up in the rain on the beach in Coney Island, trying to smoke this blunt, getting nowhere because it's so windy. And
Oh yeah, it's tough on the beach as it is.
we're like, "All right, bet, let's go and leave." So we go and leave. Where there's guys in the street with bongos, we're dancing, we're jumping and we're having a good old time. We get back on the subway. We walk on the subway. Everybody's in there. Everybody's decked out like mermaids and seahorses. Right here to my right hand side, the girl sitting right there, she was a seahorse. She was I literally grabbed her. I was like, "Yo, what are you doing here? We got to get you to the ocean. Like, let's go." Let's go.
That's so great.
Yo, I literally, so Phil's and the girls, they grabbed me. Like, we moved like a couple carts down. They're like, "Yo, you can't do that." I was like, "Yo, I thought she was a seahorse." Like, yo, she looked like a seahorse. And that's where I got ahead of myself. And haven't had an instance like that ever again.
Is that what that means? Like,
Huh?
you would say getting ahead of yourself, like when you get out of touch with reality, or what?
No, I just was like a little, I shouldn't have done that. I was tripping dick, and I was just like, "Yo,
Yeah.
this bitch is a seahorse. Let's get her to the ocean." I don't know why. I don't know what came over me and why I did it. I remember doing it. Like, I remember doing it. It's not that like.
So what would you say is the differences, like, between if you trip with LSD or you trip with mushrooms?
It's so funny you ask. I feel like I'm a little different than most people. Most people say that they like mushrooms much better than they like LSD. I'm the opposite. I like LSD more than I like mushrooms. Because of the fact that there's no stomach issue with the mushrooms. I feel like I feel like if I eat a lot of mushrooms, I'm kind of just on this journey, and I'm going wherever the mushrooms takes me. Where acid, I feel like I have a little bit more control over my environment and situation.
I got you.
And
so I would probably like that better.
Yeah. I really wish
you tried to get me to take it at my bachelor party, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, me and Nick were tripping dick, and our other friend was.
I took care of you guys though, so it was fine.
Yeah, our other friend was too, and he.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're not gonna tell that story.
We'll just say he wandered off into the Poconos in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
one of the wildest things I've ever seen happen.
Yeah, maybe one day we can tell that story.
Yeah, we gotta talk to him and make sure that's okay, because there was parents involved and he's like in his 40s.
Yeah.
Like,
it was crazy.
It was wild. It was at 4 a.m. Like, it was crazy. Oh man, dude, there's good times. But no, I think I'm very excited to see how I continue to feel with this microdosing and the effects that it has. I'd love to try microdosing LSD. It's never something I've never done, but especially after these past couple of days and the experience I'm having with the mushrooms, I'd really like to see how the LSD is.
If there's a difference.
If there's a difference, or what I like better. Like
mushrooms, maybe do a full course of the mushrooms, or like maybe mushrooms 3-4 times. Yeah, and then switch.
I might like the mushrooms more because it is more natural. It just grows in the ground.
Right.
But at the same time, I've always enjoyed LSD a lot more. So
but that's the thing you were saying, like, when you ate those mushrooms, and you kind of just like went on the journey and you just went wherever the mushrooms took you. And I guess in order to have a good time, you need to be able to just let go. Yeah. But for people who have trouble doing that, which I'm obviously one of them, because I had 2 experiences and they both weren't good. That's why I'm saying, like, the microdosing from a recreational perspective, where if you say, okay, I take 0.2, I don't feel anything. And then you went up to 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and then you realize, ooh, 1 gram is my sweet spot. Like, I felt a little bit, but I was still in control and I really enjoyed myself.
So you told me that one bad experience was down looking for hotels at prom down the shore. Terrible idea. Like,
of course I know that. I was
what was the
18
second
years old.
What was the second one?
The second one, you would think that it was set up better. So I realized what the problem was. It was my environment and it was my setting. Yeah. So I realized that. So I fixed that on the second one. And I was ironically, both of them were down the shore. So I went to my friend's shore house. But we were just chilling at my friend's shore house, and we would smoke there all the time. And like, I had a very positive view of that place. Like, I always had a good time there. It's where I went to relax and all that stuff. So we ate them down there, and I had a similarly unpleasant experience, because I think it's more that I had trouble letting go. That's
the same way. I hate being a passenger in someone's car because I hate not being in control. Like,
I know. I get it.
I hate it.
Totally
I sit in someone's car and I get anxious because I'm like, yo, like, I want to drive. Like, let me drive. Mm-hmm. If we're going, so my girl hates it because I drive like I'm from New Jersey out here in Vegas, because you drive. She doesn't understand that out in New Jersey you have to drive a certain way to get anywhere. Otherwise, you're literally gonna get run off the road in the slow lane, and you're gonna get yelled at.
So you're shaving 3 to 7 minutes off your arrival times all the time.
We'll just say I drive aggressively, just like any New Jersey,
with a car that can keep up with your aggression.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. But no, it's not just that. Like,
well, it makes a big difference. I'll tell you that. If you're driving that way in a Prius versus driving that way in your car.
I introduced her to the Jersey slide. She didn't know what that was. Just going from the left lane all the way over to the exit lane, like just the Jersey
all
slide.
The time. Yeah.
She's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because I just want to.
But you got to set that up. You got to know you'll be able to do that, because
Oh, absolutely.
A 4-lane cutover is.
But
we got jug handles over here. Most people don't even know what a jug handle is.
No, dude,
I mean,
so
you can't.
Nice.
You pretty much can't make a left-hand turn in New Jersey off of a major road if you didn't know. So we have these things we call jug handles. So in order to make a left, you got to make a right. So you make a right, then you loop around, and then there's usually a light that will take you across, and you maybe can go straight up that street, or you can make a left and complete your U-turn.
I'm still not used to it.
It throws people for a loop. Oh, you're not used to not having it.
Yes, I'm still not like turning, like every time.
We also don't pump our own gas.
Every time there's like one of those middle lanes where there's people sitting in the middle turning, I'm like, man, I got to turn there. Like, are you allowed to just do that? Or like you pull up to a light, like you're literally just allowed to hook a UE like at the light, like whoop.
Some places you can here, but it has to be, usually they'll have a sign that'll say no U-turn or whatever. No, but there's some lights that it's allowed.
Is it really?
Where there's no jug handle, and if there's no sign that says no U-turn, you can do it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I don't think so. But regardless of that, where were we going with that story? Oh yeah, my
Oh,
aggressive
LSD.
my
Oh, your aggressive driving.
my aggressive driving was the point of topic. But no, it's so different out here as far as the driving goes. Everybody's like they drive differently, and I hate not having control of driving. So I understand why you'd feel that way with mushrooms. I understand why you like, oh man, I hate being in control, but I'm the same way, dude.
So
Like
then how do but the way I'm setting it up, saying like microdosing up to the
you
perfect amount, to me, that makes sense. I'm doing research. I'm figuring out like what's my tolerance, just like I would if I was for
I agree.
edibles.
But what I'm saying is you need to set up maybe an activity that you're doing and something like maybe go for a hike. Like this is
Yeah,
like you
that
need
makes
to
sense.
like you need to be active and doing something to have your mind
Engaged.
engaged. Exactly. Like
Yeah,
me personally,
that makes sense.
I love going and doing things like that. And like
So just sitting around, your mind wanders too much.
yeah,
You're saying
yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
and you're just stuck in your thoughts unless you're watching a really funny, entertaining movie. Like I love putting on something really funny when I'm tripping and watching because you're just laughing your ass off, and it's just
Mm-hmm.
furthering the good energy and the good vibes because you just can't stop laughing and you're not even thinking about your tripping. You're just zoned into this hysterical movie
Mm-hmm.
and watching it. Or I like really like going to do something. Like one of the first times I did acid, we had a mission to go to the concert. We never made it to the concert. We never got to the concert to finish that story. We never got there. We got lost on the subway, and there was this homeless
Oh, that's
guy.
great.
He's like, "You're at Hoboken." I was like, "Okay, dude, cool. We're at Hoboken." It was like he was saying Hadouken. um, but yeah, so you have all these adventures and your things that you're doing, and then the second time I tripped, I went and to the city and just wandered throughout the city. Do
That
not
sounds terrible.
do not let me tell you, do not terrible idea. Do not go to Central Park at night. I learned that you're one not allowed to do that. Two, don't do it while you're tripping because I had an encounter with the police and it was fucking wild and terrifying in the Central Park. Uh, as the trip is hitting me like a brick wall. We ate a bunch of mushrooms and went into the city. Terrible idea. We also did that once before and didn't get caught. That's why we thought it was fine. Like,
Dude, I don't know if I'm ever gonna go there ever again, to be honest with you.
oh, I don't know either. I agree.
I haven't been
But
there in
let's talk about that tomorrow. um, we'll talk about New
no,
York.
no, no, no. It has nothing. It's not going to be political at all. I honestly, as the older I get, the less attracted I am to man-made things, and the more I just would prefer to be in nature. Like being in the city like that just feels very unnatural to me. You know what I mean? And I just don't have the right vibe, like the right energy when I'm there.
I agree, and it's
Not to say it doesn't have great things,
no,
amazing things.
that's the thing. There's because I still love going to Yankee games. I still love. There's things that you want to do in the city, get food.
Excelsior.
I know, I know, I know, dude. I know. We'll save that for tomorrow.
Yeah, I know we will, but
they have even though when they listen to this is going to be midweek.
yeah, it's fine.
They have
The
no, there's
Yankee games and things you're saying.
but there's so much good food too. There's so much good
Oh
food
my God, it's
in
amazing.
restaurants
Yeah.
and so to say that you never go in there is tough to say, but the city, it's definitely, I agree with you as far
I've
as
been
the nature.
so many times, man. I've been there
I have
so
too,
many
dude.
times.
I would spend a whole 48 hours just partying, never sleeping, like in the city. Like literally Friday to Sunday partying nonstop, no sleep. It was crazy.
I'd rather do something like go kayaking or some shit like that. To me, that
Bro,
sounds fun.
I live
Like Bobby Sauce said.
wait till you come out here, dude. Wait till you come
Yeah.
out here. When you come out here, you're gonna see the view that I have of the Vegas Strip.
I've seen it. I mean, at least
It's a
in digital format.
the pictures do it no justice. It's a beautiful view of the Strip, and I'm very blessed. But we grew up by New York City, seeing the New York City skyline.
That
So
skyline's incredible.
it's incredible. So it
Best
doesn't.
part about it.
This doesn't. It doesn't even pale. It doesn't even compare to New York City. But it's really nice. What I love about the view that I have is
Mhm.
not the skyline. It's the panoramic 360 massive red mountains that surround us, because
Yeah.
they don't have that in New Jersey. Like
It's
I keep
not
telling
it's
my,
not open like that.
nah,
But
they don't
but it's not open also because it's heavily wooded also here.
yeah,
Like where I'm at is just a lot of trees.
they don't have mountains like that, bro. The size of these mountains,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. There's nothing that
Are
compares to it.
they mountainous?
They're very mountainous, Anthony.
Well, do the Rocky Mountains compare? No, I mean I've seen mountains like, I mean I've been to Montana, I've been
okay.
out
Yeah.
west. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, but I'm saying back east. Like for most people that have never been from back east.
No, but we do have, I mean, we have the Appalachian Mountains that are on the east coast. They're not nearly as big or anything like that. And there's trees that cover it with,
they're not
there's a lot of houses and everything. But have you been to the Catskills?
Yeah,
in that area?
Yeah, in the Catskills. My uncle lives up. My
nice.
dad's uncle lives up there. But no, I'm with you. I love nature. I love, like, Zion was the most beautiful place I've ever been to in my entire life. It was unbelievable. I thought the Rockies was going to be the best. Nope. I thought Moab was going to be the best. Nope. Zion was unreal. It was like the lion, like picture the Lion King, like Sabina, like that's literally what it was. It was amazing, and we didn't even really get to go deep into the trails because we had the dog. We had Marley, so we couldn't go on a lot of the big trails like Angels, Angel something, and the Narrows. They're like famous trails that are supposed to be beautiful, but it's been a lot of fun. We didn't really talk much cannabis today, but
it's all related.
It's all related. Absolutely. Talked a lot about mushrooms, and I'm very excited to report back next week with some more test data for you. This is my first time. I'm really excited to continue testing this out because I feel fantastic. And if you have the opportunity to microdose some mushrooms and you're a little hesitant like I was, do it.
Oh no, I'm not. I wouldn't be hesitant at all because I know that there'd be a lot of benefits. So I'm excited to hopefully try and find them.
I wanted to do it
or figure it out.
No, absolutely.
Do the dab, bro.
But I hope everybody has a good week. Everybody gets nice and high.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. I still have to come up with a good sign off. I know Ant wants to.
But also I will tell you, don't forget to go to kushcreams.com and put in your code WPRUSA for 15% off.
Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable. Seriously, like all jokes aside.
And then hopefully you said next week we're gonna have Megan on here.
Yeah, hopefully next week she'll be on for next show.
That is awesome.
I'm really excited to talk to her and find out more about the benefits of her product and what they're putting out. It's a 6-time Cannabis Cup Award winner. Like, this is not just some nonsense topical. Like, this is they've been in Vogue magazine, Sports Illustrated, National Geographic, Times, Rolling Stone. It's a phenomenal company. Definitely check them out. Go to put WPR USA for 15% off of your order. But we really appreciate everybody listening. I hope everybody gets nice and stoned all week. Is this dead? Yep, it's dead. I can't even. Motherfucker. It's dead. I forgot. I meant to charge it last night, and I'm an asshole, and I forgot. So it's my fault. I can't wait till you get one and you can enjoy the Puffco.
Yeah.
Even though we're not allowed to talk about that on our show for whatever reason.
The e-nail.
But we really appreciate everybody listening. Until next time, get blasted and
stay lifted.
There we go.
Take a puff. Take it. Ain't like you got shit to do tomorrow. You don't have to go to work. Don't take a hit.
I got a drink.
Craig, man, stimulate your mind. You ain't got shit to do.
All right.
Put it in your mouth.
Shut up.
That's the shit, ain't it?